Mu'mineen, as I said last night, we may be few in numbers, but the angels are seated on this Farsh Azza. Let us join together with salawat that reaches the dome of Mawla Hussein in Karbala. Ahsan, jazakumullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه ونور عرشه صاحب طه وياسين أحمد مجتبى أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا غريب يا مظلوم يا شهيد بأرض كربلاء ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل الأعضاء الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله إن الحسين مصباح الهدى وسفينة النجاة. صلوات. Before we go forward with our majlis, I wish that we connect our voices. By today in Karbala, all the kafilas, all the caravans are arriving, and they've reached the tomb and the mazar of Hussein ibn Ali and Abul Fazl al-Abbas. And as they go, they have a particular slogan, which we should all join from here at ZAHRA Center in Watford. Let us all join together by saying 3 times, Labbaik ya Hussein, Labbaik ya Hussein, Labbaik ya Hussein. Labbaik ya Hussein. Bar Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad salawat. Tonight, we do remember particularly the Masa'ib of Awna Muhammad, the children of Janab Zainab Salamullahi alayha. And an Urdu poet beautifully says, Zainab na tujhe bhulega ye sara zamana. Zainab na tujhe bhulega ये सारा ज़माना इस्लाम को साया तेरी चादर से मिला है. Oh Zainab, we will never forget you. Islam has been under the shade of your chadar. And then he goes on to say, Shariko sabro shahe mashrakain hai Zainab, ke ain Fatima, ki noor ain hai Zainab. Dile Muhammad o Haidar ka chain hai Zainab, khuda ki raah mein bilkul Hussain hai Zainab. We have to understand these personalities. And the status of this zikr is so great. And those who participate, those who recite marsiyas and nahwas, those who do the zikr, those who engage in this zikr, that there are du'as for every aimam. Now when I saw this hadith that I'm going to present as a gift to the mu'mineen who arrive early, I was amazed. We have heard that during month of Ramadan, we are the guest of Allah, and every breath of us is ibadah. We all heard that hadith. But when I read this hadith, this is narrated in Al-Amali, Sheikh Mufid narrates. And that Sheikh Mufid is narrating this from our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq salawatullahi alayhi. He says, the breath of the one who is aggrieved, who feels the pain of Hussein, and upon the injustice and oppression subjected to the Ahlul Bayt, is like a tasbih. Every breath you take now, seated here, it's like tasbih. The angels are doing tasbih for you. Look at this is not my words. This is from Imam, our sixth Imam himself. And then he goes and says, those who grieve for us, those who cry for us, every moment of their crying is ibadah. It's the greatest ibadah. And we got to understand the importance of this azab. Many years ago, just in 1990s, there was a great marja whose name was Shahabuddin Marashi. Ayatollah Shahabuddin Marashi Najafi. He was a great marja of this time. We have got to relate to this time. And he passed away in 1990s. But when he died, he did a will. And that will is worth pondering because it reminds us the importance of this azah, this gathering. He was one of those who loved knowledge, and he accumulated libraries and books of Ahlul Bayt all over the world. Till today, may Allah give us all tawfiq to go to the ziyarah of Bibi Masuma in Qom and in Mashhad. When you go there, there is a library, ask them, of Shahabuddin Marash, and you will see hundreds of volumes and hundreds of tulabas studying those books. And he's buried at the library, right at the entrance, because he said, I want to see the footstep of those who come to study Ahlul Bayt, to pass over my grave. That was his wasiyah. But his other wasiyah, he used to carry a rumal, a handkerchief. And that handkerchief was the one he took every time he went to the gathering of Imam Hussein, the Majlis of Imam Hussein. And he said, oh my son, bury me with this handkerchief inside, because in there are the tears which might be my salvation in the hereafter. Understand the importance of this azma. Salawat. What a great privilege to be amongst those who gather in the name of Imam Hussein. Those who remember Imam Hussein, where not only Janab Fatimatu Zahra, but our living Imam himself comes to receive the condolences. The days of Mahi Adha are passing very fast. And today, the fifth Majlis, the sixth night, we are assembled here already. And we have discussed how important and how pivotal is the love of Ahlul Bayt in our lives. How it gives us the salvation of hereafter and this world. How you are successful in this world because of the du'as of Ahlul Bayt. That love is so important. And we discussed that Ahlul Bayt are those torch of guidance. And though they are the ark on which we can get aboard and become part of those who are in salvation of Ahlul Bayt. We have followed through these days various ways in which we can get aboard this Safina Ahlul Bayt. And we have looked at the examples and the belief of Ghadir and Mubahila. And we have looked at the beautiful example of Maysam Tammar and Salman. We have understood how the love of Ahlul Bayt gets us. And they are the role model. And we have discussed their valor and bravery. Yesterday, when I was saying the bravery, we look at the bravery of Ahlul Bayt, how brave they were. Imagine a room on which there are people standing with their swords open, ready to cut you into pieces. And there, in that room, on that bed, lies Mawlaya Muttaqiyan, Asadullah al-Ghalib, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Salawatullahi alayhi. Ali, who did not sleep most of the night, just doing ibadah, that night he's sleeping the sleep of ease, without any worries, even though the swords are right up on his head. Whole night he sleeps as these people who wanted to kill the Prophet stood with their swords. We say these things, but what does it mean to us? How is that bravery reflected in us, those who believe in Ahlul Bayt? How do we change our lives? How many of us, when we go to our work environment or into our schools or in our social life, are able to say bravely, yes or no, we cannot do this because my Lord is not pleased with it. Excuse me, I will not join this. I will wear hijab because I feel that that is the way my Lord wants me to be. That bravery in the heart is very important. And as we move forward, we have to understand that there are role models from Ahlul Bayt in every aspect of life. Today I want to expand on the role model from the women of Islam. How there are role models in our Ahlul Bayt that give us a perfect example for the women of the community, the women of the Shi'ayane Ali. But before I do this, give you a contemporary example. There was a lady, and she's alive now, she's in UK, and her name is Yvonne Ridley. Yvonne Ridley was a journalist. She was a journalist for a very famous newspaper. And she went to Afghanistan and she was captured. And when she was captured and she was imprisoned, she sat in Afghanistan there in that room, and there was a copy of the Quran lying there. She started doing research. She started going through this copy of the Quran, and she found so many ayahs of the importance of women in Islam, the status of women in Islam, how Islam considers the high station of the women. And as she read, she started doing research. When she came back to England, she started writing books. Remember, the West accused Islam, saying Islam is a religion that suppresses women. But Yvonne Ridley wrote articles and does lectures even now about the rights of women. Now look at her. She was not a Muslim. But when she went to Karachi in Pakistan, and there in the TV station, there was a lady, our Pakistani TV station, a Muslim TV station. And the lady who was interviewing was the modern Pakistani reporter without hijab. And she was telling Yvonne Ridley. Now remember, they were in Karachi, so there is the heat, the loo of Karachi, where it gets so hot that for a moment you cannot bear. You sweat and it hurts, it prickles the heat. So she turns to Yvonne Ridley and says, Yvonne, you are seated here in this studio. So much heat. Why do you wear this scarf that you have adorned on your head in this heat? And what does Yvonne Ridley say to this reporter? She says, this heat is the heat of this world. I want to avoid the heat of Jahannam, the fire of hell. How can I take off my scarf? We have to understand these things. We have to understand. But to understand that women have a very important role in our society. But we have our tradition. We have our customs. We have people who follow customs. So we come from either Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, various places, Iran. And those customs that built up become part of our lives. These are not necessarily the Islamic perspective. What Islam says and what the Sharia says about the rights of women are unique. When you look at it, women are in the forefront within the hudud, within the boundary of Sharia. In Iran, half the legislature are women. In many countries, women go forward with the Sharia boundaries. But we, within our communities, within the Shia community, need to understand the paradigm shift. What is a paradigm shift? I used a word. Paradigm shift is start thinking through what situation that women are going through. Thinking about other person. Now, one famous writer, Daniel Goldman, talks about paradigm shift. And even my younger brothers will understand how he explains it. He says, I was going from Toronto to one of the small cities where I commute every day. And while I was commuting, I found that I'm normally very tired. I go first thing in the morning and come back late in the evening. So I came into this compartment. And in my compartment, there was a man with 3 children. These 3 children were with this man. And I normally relax and rest. But these children were running amok. I'll go very quickly. My time is very limited. Running amok. They were running around, shouting, doing everything in that compartment, which was making it intolerable. So I turned to this man and said, oh man, are these your children? Can't you tell them to do something? And that man was looking down and he looks up and says, yes, these are my children. But how do I tell them? How do I tell them? These children were with me for the last 3 nights and we were in the hospital in Toronto. Their mother was very seriously ill and now she's passed away and we have left the body in the mortuary. How can I explain to these children who do not understand what has happened? How they feel hurt and they're taking out their frustration. And at that stage, this man says, I turned. This was my paradigm shift. I no more thought of the disturbance the children were doing. I joined in with this man and started helping the kids. Went and bought those drinks for them, crisps. I brought things for them and tried to make them quiet and console them. That change needs to come about in our community. We as Shia who believe and respect Janab Sayyida Fatimatu Zahra Salamullahi alayhi and Janab Zainab have to understand that this is a very important point that we need to ponder on. How do we treat the women in Islam? Those who are accusing, they're just accusing for the sake of the tabloid press. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking within ourselves, the paradigm shift. Look at the challenges that the women go through. They are the muallims. Imam Khomeini was asked, where is your army? You're coming out with this revolution. He says, they are in the cradle of my women of my community. They are the cradle of the widows. They are bringing them up. And how the women did their role in bringing up the children who could sacrifice for the sake of Islam. So, what are the challenges we see? Women go through a lot of challenges. They have the challenges of upbringing. They have the challenges of looking after the family. They are the central point of the family. They are the glue for the family. And do we understand their role? Do we actually recognize? And yet, we find the same women when they go out to work, they are our ambassadors for Islam. If any of us go out to work, nobody will say, this is a Shia or this is a Muslim. He could be any faith. His color may be brown, but he could be any faith. But when a woman goes with hijab, she is the ambassador. She gets the challenges on the streets. And this is why even the politician like Boris Johnson made horrible statements about hijab, which are not acceptable, even in the eyes of the other British politicians. But they have these challenges. Everywhere, these challenges come in the forefront. There are women who bring their children up. There are women who come from Azadari here. They have got children who are challenged. They have some disability. They look after, they bring their children here. And they say, Hussein is for everyone, not only for the abled one. Have we considered those aspects of the challenges? We look at the Husn Khulq and we look at the examples from Ahlul Bayt in these challenges. And our holy Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi one day came into the house of Ahlul Bayt. Bibi Fatima, Imam Ali, Hassan, Hussein and all the children. And he sees, what does he see? He says, Mawla Ali is cleaning the lentil. He's cleaning the lentil. And he's doing domestic chores while Fatima to Zahra is cooking. And Mawla's Prophet sees Ali and smiles. And then he says a beautiful hadith. He says that every person who helps out in the domestic duties in the home, Ya Ali, for every hair that they have on their body, Allah will give them equivalent of one whole year's worship. One hair. How many hair have you got? But what is the Prophet trying to teach us? We have duty towards women in our community. Haven't you seen Imam Khomeini? Those who have gone to Jamaran, you see Imam Khomeini's house, a small little house. And we see how he was always spending, despite running the country, such a huge responsibility, spending time with his wife, helping out. Now the hadith doesn't stop there. It's a very huge hadith to keep with us. It goes on and says, the man has got the sawabs for every hair and fasting every day. He gets the sawab of that, and prayers of every night, and the reward of those who are sabirin, the patient one. Then elaborating on his sawabs, he said they get the sawab of Prophet Dawood and Prophet Isa. What? Just helping in home. Even the young boys who are seated here, what do you do to help your mothers? What do you do in the house to help those who are helping you in the home? And then the Prophet went and said, O Ali, those who help and who are not forced to help, who do it without force, they feel doing it is a pleasure of Allah, Allah will write his name amongst the martyrs of Islam. Shuhada. Don't we want to get this status? And then he doesn't stop there. In this hadith he says, every step they take to help, they get the sawabs of Umrah and Hajj. And then he goes on further, for every vein in your body, Allah will give you a city in Jannah. How many veins have we got in our body? This is the sawabs of helping those. Indeed, service of the family extinguishes the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khidmatul ayyal kafalatu likabail. Kafalatul likabail. The ayats of Quran again and again that women have a great status. They declare that men and women, when they do their work sincerely, they do their ibadah, Allah accepts from each of them according to their sincerity. And our holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa. He says at the last moment, as he breathes his last breath, what does the Prophet say about the women in Islam? He says, he turns and he says, be wary of your responsibility towards the women of my ummah. That is the Prophet's one of the few last words that he said. How important these words are. And when we look at Mawlaya Muttaqiyan, Asadullah al-Ghalib, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi alayhi. We find our Mawla, who is the Khalifa, who is the ruler of the Islam. Huge empire, spreading from Iran to Africa. And he is seen at night serving a widow, bringing the firewood, cleaning the lentils, playing with the children. For days he goes and helps that widow. Somebody comes to that widow and says, did you know who this person is? The neighbor says. And she says, no. He says, this is the Khalifa, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the Waliullah who is helping you. The woman goes to Ali, Ya Ali, forgive me, I made you do all this menial task, washing the house, cleaning the house. At that time, Ali says, we are there for the service of humanity, and everybody who follows us should do the same. These are the important points when we look. And those who accuse Islam, there are tabloids. I told you the tabloid newspaper talks about women being suppressed in Islam. Let me give you a few clips of what this society that accuses us were and are as far as women's rights are concerned. When we look at it, Islam before civilization, the Greek civilization, the great philosophers, Socrates and all those people study their philosophy. But when they talked about women, they treated women as commodities to be sold and bought. When we look at Roman civilization, they considered them as devils. They thought that they corrupt mankind. And when we look at Hindu, they think women's life is not worth anything. You know, they have this sati. You may have heard of something called sati. What they do is when a widow, and up to now it is banned legally, but it happens in the villages. It used to happen openly before. When a widow, when a man dies, the widow is encouraged to jump into the fire and burn herself, saying you are not worth anything if your man isn't there. This is the status of those who accuse Islam. When you look at Arabs, we have seen Surah Isra, verse 31, how a little child is brought by a father. Apparently because of his love of that daughter, the daughter is prepared and then taken into the hole. That daughter whom he loves but he buries alive as people throw dust on it. This is Jahiliyyah. And how Quran talks about it. And if you talk about UK, in this country we live in, up to 1888, if there was a property, a man could own it, but the women could not put his name on it. Only 130 years ago. And even 1990, when we look at UK, the taxation system, the women's return, women's income had to be declared with the man. The man signed for those returns. This is the society we live in. And even today, in China and India, where there is limit of number of children, when they see in the scan a child is a woman and they want a boy and they're only allowed one in China, what do? They abort, they kill, just like those Arabs that buried this child. They abort the child and the child is killed by abortion. When we look at this, how Islam announces women as rahmah, mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Women occupy very high important position in Islam. Our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq salawatullahi alayhi, says, if you have 3 daughters and you bring them up according to Islamic values, Jannah is wajib on you. And then he says, no, even if you have 1 daughter, you have a sister whom you look after and bring her according to Islamic value. Why? Why is Imam saying? Because bringing a woman, giving her education is not educating one person, but is educating the whole society. When a woman is educated, she educates the whole society. Indeed, we have seen examples of people like Bintul Huda, Ayatollah Bakr Sad's sister, how she went and fought for the right and how she was martyred, just like Ayatollah Bakr Sadr. We have to learn. This is this century we are talking about. And then we have people like Sadia. In the jung, she's carrying 3 bodies on a camel. And she's being asked, oh Sadia, you took these 3 boys, you're taking 3 of your children back to bury. They were killed by the Prophet. Is that fair? She says, if only I had 1 more son, I would have made him sacrifice according to Islam and given him to a prophet to fight and defend Islam. Let's look at women of Ahlul Bayt and then we move to Masaib. Let's look at the example. Beautiful example we find. Shining torch of guideline. Guidance in every moment. Safinatun Najah wa Misbahul Huda. In Janabe Fatima to Zahra, Salamullahi alayha. We see Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen, the Prophet standing up for her in respect. And we see her as a perfect example. As a daughter, let's look at her role as a daughter. She was a partner in Tabligh. How she kept on teaching Islam. There were women gathered in her house saying, Ya Fatima, give me this answer, explain me this. And they were asking so many questions. And so Fatima is busy with the children. And they said, we apologize, we are asking you so many questions. Fatima to Zahra says, no, continue asking. Would you feel the burden if you were told that from Asman, from the sky to this earth, Allah will give you pearl for every question that you raise? Understand the azma. Look at the way the tabligh was done. How her father, the Holy Prophet used to call her Abiha, my father, my mother. How when he came back, stoned with blood gushing in his body, Fatima Zahra used to clean his wounds. And then when we look as Fatima Zahra as Abd, servant of Allah, how Allah expresses, there's mubahisa with the angels. Oh angels, look at the ibadah of Fatima Zahra. How important it is. And when you see Imam Hassan asks Fatima Zahra, oh mother, why do you pray for all the neighbors and everybody else? And Fatima Zahra says, oh my children, This is the hukukun nas. We have to pray for our neighbors and others first before ourselves. And our status as a wife, when we see how Jibreel comes and cleans the doorstep of Fatima Zahra, rocks the cradle of Hassan and Hussein. She is the confidant. Imam Ali is able to talk and discuss the difficulties that he's facing. He's the best partner. She's the best partner in obedience. Imam Ali was asked by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how do you find Fatima Zahra? She is the best in obedience. And the words of Ali after her shahadat, it's worth listening in Nahjul Balagha. A budding flower who, although has withered away, her fragrance remains deep inside my mind and my heart. This is Ali describing Fatima Zahra. As a woman seeking rights, we're talking about woman's right, Fatima Zahra went to the court of Abu Bakr and stood up there as daughter of Fatima, daughter of the Prophet, and fought for her rights, asked for her rights. Not only that, after when the Khalifas were appointed, Fatima used to go with Ali and knock the doors of various houses and says, "O Ashab of Rasul, do you know that in Ghadir how Prophet declared Ali as Khalifa? How have you gone astray? Why have you gone astray?" She used to knock doors and explain. That's how she said, remember, she said, remember, wa aliyun mawla, wa hadha aliyun mawla. Those words, as a mother, her upbringing of Hassan and Hussein, beautiful. How they brought Hassan, Hussein, Zainab, Kulsum. When you look at their lives and what they did in Islam, how could they have done it unless they got that upbringing? That upbringing. Imam Hassan is only 5 or 6 years of age and goes to Masjid al-Nabawi every day. Look at how Janab Fatima Zahra asks him when he comes back, "Oh Hassan, what did the Prophet say? What did the Prophet say today?" And listens to what Imam Hassan narrates. Do we, when our children go to school, to madrasa, to institutions, to the majlis, do we ask, what did you gain today? What did you follow? And the women of Islam, my time is run out, I have to go to Masaib. But when you look at Ummul Baneen, inshallah, and Janab Zainab Salamullahi alayha, how great the personality. How great the personality in Islam we've got. In the court of Yazid, Janab Zainab says, "La ra'aytu illa jamila." I do not see anything but beauty. We have to understand. My time has run out. There are beautiful examples. Inshallah, if I get chance, I will continue tomorrow a little bit on this. We have reached the 6th night of Muharram, the 5th Majlis. Azadarane Hussein, our Ahlul Bayt are surrounded. We recite Masaib today of Janab Zainab Salamullahi alayha. We recite the Masaib of Ono Muhammad. Ya O Azadarane Hussein. We recite and we give pursa to Janab Zainab, who went in Karbala, Kufa and Sham, becoming a Hussein. Let us start with the salutations to the mothers of Karbala, who sacrificed their children for Islam. Mother of Ono Muhammad Zainab, mother of Qasim Farwa, mother of Ali Akbar, Hamshakle Payambar Layla, and mother of Ali Asgar Ruba. On the night of Ashura, mothers were getting their children in the tent and explaining, "Oh, On, Zainab is saying to On, "Oh, no, Muhammad, tomorrow is the day of sacrifice. Do not forget you have an important role. Save your mamu's life, your uncle's life. My darling, if anything happens to Hussein before, you are not sacrificed. You have not given your lives to save him. him. How will I reply to Fatima to Zahra? You are the grandson of Ali. You are the grandson of Jafar Tayyar. One by one, Hussein's companion went to the battlefield and were martyred. Bibi Zainab was watching the bodies being brought to the tent. She called to her son, Oh Muhammad, why have you not gone to the battlefield? They replied, Mother, oh mother, we keep on asking Mawla Hussein, but he keeps on refusing. Zainab asked Hussein and said, Oh brother Hussein, I'm begging you to let Muhammad go to the battlefield. Zainab, my sister, jihad is not wajib on the children. How can I let my sister's son be killed? Why am I alive? Hussein, my brother, if Ali Akbar and he dies before Muhammad, how will I face Fatima to Zahra? Hussein saw disappointment in the eyes of Zainab. Hussein put his arms around Muhammad and to led them to the horses. He kissed them, he hugged them and helped them mount. Go my nephews, go my banjas, go and show this beastly man you have the blood of Jafar and Ali in your veins. Muhammad looked at their mother and said, Fi amanillah amma Khuda Hafiz. Zainab replied, Bismillah, may Allah be with you. Muhammad rode to the battlefield and fought together. They pushed the enemy. Hundreds of Yazid men were killed. How Abbas and Hussein were looking at Muhammad's battle, and Abbas, who had trained the boys in the art of fighting, was filled with pride. Umar Saad, Yazid's army, his commander ordered, Oh my soldiers, these are Bani Hashim's young ones. You cannot kill them with their together. Separate them. Muhammad was separated. Each one was then surrounded by Yazid's soldiers. They were attacked by cruel blows of arrows and spears. How much can the two young children take? They were thirsty for 3 days and hungry for 3 days. As they fell from their horses, wounded, bleeding, they said, Assalamu alayka ya Ummah. Oh my uncle, accept our salams. Mawla Hussein and Hazrat Abbas rushed to the battlefield. The children were severely wounded. They were taking their last breath. Uncle, give our salams to our mother. Uncle, tell our mother we did not go near the Furat and we did not drink the water. Imam Hussein carried the body of Muhammad with Hazrat Abbas. I will tell Muhammad, you are being carried to the tent. What will happen in Asr Ashur when Hussein will fall from Zuljana and come down on the arrows and spears? Zainab heard the cries from the tent. She laid her musalla, saying, doing sajda, Ya Allah, I thank you for accepting my sacrifice. Ya Allah, my sons gave their life for Islam. Ladies gathered round Zainab, crying, Wow, no. Wa Muhammada, wa Auna, wa Muhammada. One final point of Masaib. Mu'mineen Azadan Hussein, may Allah keep your children, give them long life and not give you any gham other than Hussein. Zainab on the day of Ashura did not cry for Muhammad. Zainab did not cry in Sham, in the prison of Sham for Muhammad. When the heads were brought into the after the Rihai, when the heads were brought, Imam Zainab took Hussein's head and started crying, Oh my Hussein. There were 2 heads lying. Somebody turned. Isn't there a mother for these children? Isn't there a mother for these children? At that stage, Zainab did not cry. But when Zainab came to Medina, to her house, she saw the 2 small musallas. She saw the room of honor Muhammad and she started crying, Oh Muhammad, what will this Zaif, this his own mother do without you? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. يا الله بحق محمد وأنت المحمود، وبحق علي وأنت الأعلى، وبحق فاطمة وأنت فاطر السماوات والأرض، وبحق الحسن وأنت المحسن، وبحق الحسين وأنت قديم الإحسان، وبحق 9 المعصومين من ذرية الحسين عليه السلام. يا الله مؤمنين gathered here for the love of Ahlul Bayt and Azai Hussein. Ya Allah, accept this moments as a precious ibadah. Ya Allah, all those who have difficulties, remove their difficulties. Ya Allah, I see a lot of children of the age of Ono Muhammad. Ya Allah, make them the true followers of Mawla Hussein. Ya Allah, forgive. Maghfirah for marhumeens, those who are suffering from illness, remove the illness. Ya Allah, hasten the reappearance of Wali al-Asr, Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, and make us amongst his Ansar, his followers and helpers. Bar Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad salawat.